Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview.
Sure. I hope this works out all right. I'm traveling through from Pittsburgh to Cleveland, so hopefully I won't lose you.
Well, you're coming in loud and clear so far, so it should hopefully be all right. Well, I'm here to talk to you about the brand new Red Fang album, Only Ghosts, which is available now. And of course, you guys are currently on tour right now supporting the album. What has been the reception to the album so far?
Seems like it's pretty good. I mean, I can only judge that from the reactions of the live crowds. I haven't really, paid attention to any reviews or seen any sales numbers or anything, but the kids at the show seem to dig the new songs, and it's nice to see people singing along to new songs already, so that's encouraging.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, it seems like it's going pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you can get, the new songs and people are singing along already to it, that's a great sign.
Yeah, good times.
And I'm sure that's going to be a great thing to be able to play those new songs live, too, to be able to get some new songs into the set list.
Yeah, some of them we've been playing live for a while, and some of them I just started playing live on these last couple tours. But it's nice. We've got a couple different sets for playing on this tour, trying to work in almost all the new songs from the new album between two different sets. So yeah, and they seem to, seamlessly integrate into our sets with the old songs, so it's not too jarring, it's still Red Fang songs.
Oh, very much so. But with that said, when you were writing the new songs, when it came to the composition for the drums, did you have any struggles with the new album at all, or did it just feel natural to you?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time we've worked with a really hands-on producer, Ross Robinson. He was in the room with us constantly while we were rewriting and rearranging songs. Some of the songs we had almost completely done, or what we thought were completely finished songs when we got there, and then some of the other ones were just kind of ideas and nuggets that we fully formed with Ross in the studio. And he certainly pushed me to work outside my comfort zone a little and do some things on the drums that I'm not used to doing, and there was lots of me screaming expletives and getting super frustrated trying to figure some stuff out on the fly while everyone was standing around staring at me. But it was awesome. It really pushed me to open some new doors and not wallow in the mud of the rut that I was stuck in for a while, just doing the same old stuff. So yeah, it was great.
So what are the examples of that?
Well, let's see, for one example, Ross would say things like, hey, what if you just did ghost notes here, and then I would do what I thought he was talking about, and he's like, yeah, that sounds cool, but what if you did the hi-hat and quarter notes instead of eighth notes, but keep the ghost notes eighth notes? And I was like, what the hell? God damn it, that's hard, So I'd have to figure out how to do that real quick, and but that's like an example of one of the things that stuck, that made it on the record, and I think it's an awesome little, subtle drum thing that doesn't seem that complicated, but for someone who's never really done it before, it's hard.
Yeah, that's the great thing about being pushed out of your comfort zone as a musician, is when you do explore new territory, it opens your mind to more creativity. Totally,
kicks open doors that lead down all kinds of different tunnels and hallways that you might not have ever explored otherwise. So it's a good feeling when you figure out how to do something, and then your body takes over and your brain can relax. You're like, oh yeah, I don't have to think about this anymore. My body can handle it from here. And I hadn't really had a lot of breakthroughs like that in the last several years for just recording, so that was fun.
So with that, did you change your setup at all when you were in the studio?
Not much. The basic setup remained the same. I ended up using some thinner cymbals than normal because I'm not much of a studio drummer. I'm more of a live guy, and my setup is a live setup. So I have really heavy, really loud cymbals, and we were recording in a really small room. So my cymbals were a little too loud, and the dudes at Sabian were nice enough to let me borrow a bunch of stuff. So I borrowed a bunch of thinner cymbals for the recording, and also I took off the resonant heads on my toms for the recording, and only used the top heads. So it's basically like concert toms, which I'd never done, and that was pretty awesome because it was just a little more percussive, like a little more attack, it was a little tougher tom sound, more like cannons than I'm used to, but it was awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't know if it was the tuning or the kind of drums that you were using. I noticed that the toms did have that cannon sound like you described, but finding out that there was no resonant heads on there, that completely makes sense.
And they were also, I used a Q steel kit for that recording, so that the shells were stainless steel. But the way the Q guys do it, they have wood bearing edges, so the heads rest on wood, but the shell, like the tone, all comes from the steel shells. So kind of, a little more metallic, I guess.
Yeah, and I definitely think it paid off because the sound sounds so great on the album, and of course with getting out of your comfort zone, it makes you even more, even better on the drums. I mean, as much as I love the previous Red Fang albums, I really love what you're doing on the new album.
Oh, thanks, appreciate it.
Oh, not a problem.
Yeah, working with Ross is pretty mind blowing. That dude is a special dude for sure.
Yeah, and I definitely think it paid off very well when it comes to the production and all of those sides onto there, because it just made for an absolutely solid album.
Thank you.
Oh, not a problem. So when you were using thinner cymbals in the studio, did you have more of a tendency to crack those cymbals, or were they still held up after the recording?
Yeah, I broke a couple, but I go through cymbals pretty regularly. Like on tour, I'll usually I play Sabian AAX metal crashes, a 19-inch and a 20-inch. And on a typical month-long tour, I'll break one of each of those. But they last longer than any other cymbals that I've used in the past. So, but yeah, I'm kind of a cymbal crusher. I don't have the best technique. I'm a little Neanderthal in my drumming technique, caveman style. So I'm sure I could save cymbals if I played drums like I'm supposed to, but it wouldn't be nearly as fun for me.
And it makes for a fun live show too, because it's so much fun to see the way that you play the drums live.
Well, I always appreciate watching a drummer who hits hard. I'm always disappointed if I see a band that I like, but I've never seen them live. If their drummer is just kind of a tapper, I'm always like, oh man, damn it! Like, just kind of a bummer to see. It just feels like someone's phoned it in or something.
Yeah, that's the great thing about this
it's
current
helpful.
tour.
What's that?
I was going to say that's the great thing about this current tour, because with Red Fang, Torch, and Whores, I mean, it's all like cymbal crashing and hard drumming going on from all three bands.
Oh yeah, it's a treat to watch every night. Like we are genuine fans of both bands, and super fun to watch both those drummers just crush every night. I'm a huge fan of Johnny from Whores and Rick from Torch, and they're both really different drummers. Like they have super different styles and really entertaining to watch, and they both come up with cool, kind of weird and tasty drum licks. So fun for me. This tour is one of my favorite tours of all time.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. I wish it was coming to Minnesota, but I'm glad to see that this tour is happening across the country.
Yeah, we wish we could go everywhere, but unfortunately, time constraints. We got to kind of wrap it up within a month, but I wish it was coming to Minnesota too. It's been a while.
Oh yeah. Well, and speaking of that, is there any current plans going on for 2017 yet?
Yeah, we're going to try to do some more U.S. touring in March, and I'm not sure where that's going to take us. And then late April, we're going to go to do a little tour of South America, go to Brazil and Argentina and Chile, and then in June we'll do a big festival tour in Europe. Some of my favorite festivals we get to play, like Hellfest, Grass Pop, and Download, and Roskilde. Just lots of really awesome, cool, big European festivals. Oh, and I think also in May we'll do the Rock on the Range Festival, and I think it's in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, maybe. So that should be fun. And then I'm not sure what's going to happen after the summer, but I'm sure there'll be more touring involved. Lots of touring, basically.
Oh, very cool. So when you have the opportunity to huge festivals over in Europe, how does it contrast to doing a tour like you're currently on?
Well, it's a lot different, but they both have their ups and downs. The festival tours are pretty awesome because, well, for one thing, you get to play in front of a shitload of people, and the backstages at those festivals are kind of like little reunions for you end up running into tons of bands that you've toured with in the past, or just friends that you know from being in touring bands. And so backstages are always like big parties and just fun reunions. But tours like the one you're on now, where we get to play smaller rooms with the crowd right up in your face, everybody sweating along together. There's something really special about that, about being able to feel the energy from the crowd being right up in your face. It's pretty intense. So I kind of prefer that, but the festival crowds are pretty amazing too. It's hard to say which one is better. It's like I like Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin. I don't have to choose, So they're very different experiences, but I enjoy them.
Yeah, and that says a lot about the band and how awesome that you guys have really become to be able to do intimate shows like you're doing right now, and being able to do those summer festivals as well and have that same reaction from the crowd.
Yeah, it's pretty, I mean, it seems like it's a little easier in Europe to get that kind of reaction at a festival, because it seems like the crowds are a little less closed-minded. Like, you can play a festival that has Snoop Dogg, Queens of the Stone Age, Meat Eater, and Bjork all on the same festival, and, you know, the crowds are just excited to be at a music festival and experience all kinds of different music, whereas it seems like in the U.S., it's usually pretty genre specific, you know, like it's metal, or it's something else, you know, that's like, it's easier to, I don't know, it just seems like people in Europe appreciate music more. But I'm not trying to poo-poo the U.S. crowds either, but I like the eclecticness of Eurofest.
Yeah, and as a musician, when you're surrounded by the music that you always play and always write and always it's nice to have that break and be able to enjoy other styles of music as well as playing those shows.
Yeah, for sure. It's great for us to be able to see other stuff, you know. Like, I think one of the most emotional experiences I've had at a live concert in the last couple of years was, I think it was last summer, maybe the summer before, but we were on a festival tour, and it was one of the last festivals of the tour. I can't even remember the name of the festival. A big one, though, in Belgium. And that band Alabama Shakes was playing. I had never seen it, and it was just insane, man. Just like, maybe because we'd been on tour for a while and I was missing home and emotional anyways, but that lady's voice just crushed. I looked around, and people are crying, but like smiling while they're crying. You know, it was great, but that was totally not a metal moment at all, but a good one nonetheless.
Yeah, and again, it's great to be able to have a band where you can make it to those shows and make it to those festivals where you can see that stuff. And again, like you said, with Europe being more open-minded to different genres, that you can have those moments.
Yeah, fantastic.
And speaking of that, since it is the end of 2016, do you have any current favorite albums that came out this year?
Ooh, jeez, that's a lot. I should make a list and just have it in my pocket so that when I'm put on the spot like this, I can pull out my list. Favorite albums this year? I'm blanking. I'm gonna have to get back to you.
Well, that's cool.
I mean, I could take the easy road and say, you know, like, yeah, Horrors, our tour mates, they just put out an album of Gold that's fantastic. I could just list all my friends, but yeah, let me think about it. I'll get back to you.
Oh, sure thing. But, yeah, I mean, again, just getting back into the beginning here again, being able to talk about the new album, Only Ghosts, and this amazing headlining run that you have going on through the United States. I'm very glad to see the longevity the Red Fang has had and everywhere that the band is currently going.
Yeah, well, we're excited and feel super lucky to be able to do it. You know, it seems like we didn't tour very much last year because we were busy writing and recording, and then it seemed like it took forever for this album finally come out. So we're super stoked that it's out, and really excited to be out on the road supporting it and playing a bunch of these songs live. So yeah, it's like it's finally happening. It feels good.
Oh, very much so. And I can't wait to see those songs live the next time that you come to Minnesota.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm not sure about March, but I know we're going to be doing some more U.S. touring. So hopefully Minnesota will be on the route. Don't quote me on that, but we'll see.
Oh, sure thing. But awesome. Well, thank you again for taking the time to do this while you're currently on the road and heading off to the next show on an amazing tour with Torch and Horrors, and being able to promote the brand new album Only Ghosts, which is available now. Before we're done, is there anything else you'd like to mention that I haven't brought up yet?
No, man, I think you covered it. I mean, I hope that people keep coming to these shows. Almost every show's been sold out so far on this tour, so that makes us feel good. So, yeah, I guess I would just say get your tickets in advance because they're going fast.